Dealing with narcissists can feel like an emotional roller coaster. They're manipulative, self-absorbed, and will drain your energy if you allow them to. Narcissists thrive on control, and their tactics can leave you feeling powerless, doubting yourself, and questioning your worth. But here's the truth. You have the power to protect yourself, and you don't have to be a victim of their manipulation. Enter Stoicism, the ancient philosophy that equips you with the mental armor to handle life's most difficult challenges, including toxic people. The Stoics understood that while we can't always control the people we encounter, we can control how we respond. In the case of narcissists, that response can make all the difference. If you're ready to reclaim your emotional freedom, here are 5 Stoic strategies that will help you protect yourself from narcissists so you can rise above their influence and live life on your own terms. Make sure to subscribe to Sana Stoic for more insights. 1. Set firm boundaries and enforce them. Narcissists thrive on pushing your limits, constantly testing how far they can go in crossing your boundaries. They don't respect your personal space, emotional well-being, or time, because to them, your needs are secondary to theirs. This is why setting clear, firm boundaries is one of the most essential tools you have when dealing with narcissists. The Stoic philosophy, particularly through the teachings of Epicurus, emphasizes the importance of focusing on what is within your control. One of the things you have complete control over is how you set and maintain your boundaries. Setting boundaries is not just about telling people what you will and won't tolerate. It's about showing respect for yourself and protecting your peace. For example, if a narcissist in your life constantly disrespects your time by expecting you to drop everything for them, a clear boundary might be, "I won't be available after 6 p.m. unless it's an emergency." The key to boundary setting is not just making the declaration, but sticking to it. Narcissists are relentless in testing boundaries, so it's crucial that you don't bend or make exceptions. Each time you let a narcissist cross your boundary, they see it as permission to continue their behavior. Think about how Seneca spoke about the importance of self-respect. He emphasized that the only person responsible for guarding our integrity is ourselves. By enforcing boundaries, you're choosing to prioritize your emotional health, and you're sending a message that your well-being is non-negotiable. It's about showing people how you deserve to be treated and standing firm when those standards are not met. It's important to recognize that setting boundaries may not be well received by the narcissist. In fact, it's likely that they'll push back even harder or try to guilt-trip you into abandoning them. This is why it's vital to stay grounded in your conviction. Stoicism teaches that you can't control how others will react, but you can control how you respond. Be prepared for resistance, but remind yourself that you're not responsible for their feelings. You're responsible for protecting your own peace. In the end, setting boundaries with a narcissist is an act of self-respect and self-love. It may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're not used to being assertive, but over time, it becomes easier to enforce those limits, and in doing so, you protect your mental and emotional well-being from further harm. 2. Detach emotionally. One of the most effective tactics narcissists use to manipulate others is to play on their emotions. They know how to trigger reactions, whether it's anger, guilt, or a need for approval. The more emotionally invested you are in their games, the more control they have over you. But here's where Stoicism offers a powerful solution: emotional detachment. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most well-known Stoics, famously said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Narcissists are the outside events over which you have no control. What you can control is how you choose to react. Detaching emotionally doesn't mean you become cold or indifferent. It means you recognize that the narcissist's behavior is a reflection of their own inner turmoil, not yours. You don't need to get sucked into their drama or allow them to manipulate your emotions. Narcissists love to create emotional chaos, and when you stop reacting to their provocations, you take away their power. When they try to push your buttons, whether through insults, guilt-tripping, or playing the victim, you can choose to remain calm and unshaken. Stoic emotional detachment is rooted in the idea that we are not slaves to our feelings. Emotions like anger, fear, and frustration are natural, but they shouldn't dictate our actions. By practicing mindfulness and self-awareness, you can become more conscious of how you're feeling in the moment and make a deliberate choice not to react. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions, but instead acknowledging them without letting them drive your behavior. Imagine a narcissist belittling you in front of others to provoke a reaction. Rather than getting angry or defensive, take a moment to pause, breathe, and remind yourself that their words only have the power you give them. By remaining composed, you deny them the satisfaction of seeing you upset. Over time, they will realize their attempts to provoke you are futile, and they will lose interest in trying to control your emotions. Epicurus also reminds us that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Narcissists are always going to try to push your emotional buttons, but when you master emotional detachment, you become impervious to their manipulation. This not only protects you from emotional exhaustion, but also reinforces your sense of inner peace. 3. Master the art of indifference. If there's one thing narcissists crave more than anything, it's attention. They feed off of others' reactions, whether it's positive or negative. Indifference, therefore, is a powerful stoic weapon in your arsenal against narcissists. When you become indifferent to their antics, you deny them the validation they desperately seek, and over time, their control over you diminishes. In Stoicism, the concept of apatheia refers to a state of being emotionally unshaken by external events. This doesn't mean you don't care about anything. It means you don't allow things outside of your control to disturb your inner peace. Narcissists are often desperate for your engagement, whether through arguments, drama, or even your sympathy. But when you master the art of indifference, you stop feeding into their need for attention. You become unbothered by their attempts to provoke you. It's important to remember that for a narcissist, even negative attention is better than no attention at all. When you refuse to react, you starve them of the fuel they need. Consider the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, who believed that we should always strive to remain calm in the face of adversity. In his meditations, he reminds us that the opinions and actions of others are irrelevant if we remain true to ourselves. Narcissists will do everything they can to drag you into their emotional turmoil, but the moment you stop engaging, you take control. They can no longer manipulate or influence you because you've chosen not to invest your energy in their games. Practicing indifference doesn't mean allowing someone to walk all over you. It's about recognizing that their behavior is a reflection of them, not you. Narcissists will often escalate their behavior when they see they're not getting the reaction they want, but that's where your stoic practice becomes even more crucial. Stay grounded, stay calm, and stay indifferent. In the end, mastering the art of indifference is not about shutting yourself off from the world. It's about choosing where to direct your emotional energy. Narcissists don't deserve it. Reserve your energy for people and situations that bring you growth and positivity. Indifference is your secret weapon in reclaiming your power and protecting your peace from those who seek to disturb it. Focus on what you can control. One of the cornerstones of Stoic philosophy is the understanding that we can only control our own thoughts, actions, and responses. Everything else, other people's behaviors, opinions, and attitudes, is outside of our control. Narcissists want to control everything around them, but the truth is, they can only control what you allow them to. By focusing on what you can control, you take away their ability to manipulate you. When you're entangled with a narcissist, it's easy to fall into the trap of trying to change them or fix the situation. You might think that if you just say the right thing or make them see your perspective, they'll treat you better. But this is a losing battle. Stoicism teaches us that trying to control others only leads to frustration and disappointment. Instead, focus on what you can control: your reactions, your boundaries, and your decisions. Epicurus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is especially true when dealing with narcissists. You can't change their behavior, but you can choose how you respond to it. When they try to provoke you, you can stay calm. When they try to guilt-trip you, you can remain firm in your boundaries. When they try to manipulate you, you can choose not to engage. By focusing on your own actions and reactions, you take back control of your life. Narcissists thrive on creating chaos and confusion, but when you stay centered and grounded in your own power, they lose their ability to control you. You become unshakable. Another aspect of focusing on what you can control is recognizing that your worth isn't determined by how others treat you. Narcissists will often try to make you feel small, insignificant, or unworthy, but as the Stoics remind us, our value comes from within, not from external validation. You have the power to define your own worth, regardless of how a narcissist tries to tear you down. Ultimately, by focusing on what you can control, you free yourself from the toxic influence of narcissists. You stop wasting your energy on things you can't change and instead focus on what truly matters: your own peace, growth, and well-being. This is the Stoic path to empowerment. Walk away when necessary. One of the most empowering decisions you can make when dealing with a narcissist is to walk away. The Stoics emphasize the importance of protecting your inner peace, and sometimes the best way to do that is by removing yourself from a toxic situation entirely. Narcissists will often try to keep you hooked in their web of manipulation by using guilt, shame, or fear. But walking away isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Don't waste your life on people who drain your energy and take away your peace. Narcissists thrive on keeping you entangled in their drama, but you have the power to walk away and free yourself from their toxic influence. Dealing with narcissists requires strength, resilience, and wisdom, but the Stoic philosophy equips you with the tools to handle them. By setting boundaries, detaching emotionally, mastering indifference, focusing on what you can control, and walking away when necessary, you can protect yourself from their manipulation and live a life of peace and empowerment. Remember, the Stoics teach us that we have the power over our own minds. Narcissists can only affect you if you allow them to. Take back your power by embracing these Stoic strategies, and you'll find yourself stronger and more confident in navigating even the most toxic of people. You deserve to live free from manipulation. Subscribe to Sana Stoic right now and empower yourself to take control.